Nature is mindless, hence irresponsible. But man has a mind. Why is it so perverse? Maharaj, the causes of perversity are also natural heredity, environment, and so on. You are too quick to condemn. Don't worry about others. Deal with your own mind first. When you realize that your mind too is a part of nature, the duality will cease. Questioner. There is some mystery in it which I cannot fathom. How can the mind be a part of nature? Maharaj, because nature is in the mind. Without the mind, where is nature? Questioner, if nature is in the mind and the mind is my own, I should be able to control nature, which is not really the case. Forces beyond my control determine my behavior. Maharaj, develop the witness attitude, and you will find in your own experience that detachment brings control. The state of witnessing is full of power. There is nothing passive about it. Reality cannot be expressed. Questioner, I have noticed a new self emerging in me, independent of the old self. They somehow coexist. The old self goes on its habitual ways, the new lets the old be, but doesn't identify itself with it. Maharaj, what is the main difference between the old self and the new? Questioner, the old self wants everything defined and explained. It wants things to fit each other verbally. The new doesn't care for verbal explanations. It accepts things as they are and doesn't seek to relate them to things remembered. Maharaj, are you fully and constantly aware of the difference between the habitual and the spiritual? What is the attitude of the new self to the old? Questioner, the new just looks at the old. It is neither friendly nor inimical. It just accepts the old self along with everything else. It doesn't deny its being, but doesn't accept its value and validity. The new is the total denial of the old. The permissive new is not really new. It is but a new attitude of the old. The really new obliterates the old completely. The two cannot be together. Is there a process of self denudation, a constant refusal to accept the old ideas and values, or is there just a mutual tolerance? What is their relation? Questioner. There is no particular relation, they coexist. Maharaj, when you talk of the old self and the new, whom do you have in mind? As there is continuity in memory between the two, each remembering the other, how can you speak of two selves? One is a slave to habits, the other is not. One conceptualizes, the other is free from all ideas. Maharaj, why two selves? Between the bound and the free, there can be no relationship. The very fact of coexistence proves their basic unity. There is but one self, it is always now. What you call the other self, old or new, is but a modality, another aspect of the one self. The self is single. You are that self and you have ideas of what you have been or will be. But an idea is not the self. Just now, as you are sitting in front of me, which self are you, the old or the new? Questioner, the two are in conflict. Maharaj, how can there be conflict between what is and what is not? Conflict is the characteristics of the old. When the new emerges, the old is no longer. You cannot speak of the new and the conflict in the same breath. Even the effort of striving for the new self is of the old. Whenever there is conflict, effort, struggle, striving, longing for a change, the new is not. To what extent are you free from the habitual tendency to create and perpetuate conflicts? Maharaj, questioner. I cannot say that I am now a different man, but I did discover new things about myself. States so unlike what I knew before that I feel justified in calling them new. Maharaj, the old self is your own self, the state which sprouts suddenly and without cause, carries no stain of self. You may call it God. What is seedless and rootless? What doesn't sprout and grow, flower and fruit? What comes into being suddenly and in full glory, mysteriously and marvelously? You may call that God. It is entirely unexpected, yet inevitable, infinitely familiar, yet most surprising, beyond all hope, yet absolutely certain. Because it is without cause, it is without hindrance. It obeys one law only, the law of freedom. Anything that implies a continuity, a sequence, a passing from stage to stage cannot be real. There is no progress in reality. It is final, perfect, unrelated.